Senate lawmakers managed to pass their version of the tax megabill on a 51-50 vote, with Vice President J.D. Vance called in to push the vote in Republicans' favor. The bill now heads to the House, where Speaker Mike Johnson is eyeing a vote. This week, so lawmakers can send the final bill to President Donald Trump's desk by July for dot still. There's no guarantee the bill as written will succeed in the House. While the House passed its version of the bill in May, their margin was, like the Senate's vote today, razor thin. And the Senate's version contains provisions that some House lawmakers may not like to potential sticking points. The Senate bill proposes deeper cuts to Medicaid than the House version, which moderate Republicans are less likely to agree to. Fiscal hawks are not happy with the cost of this sweeping tax package. The Senate bill would increase deficits by as much as $3.3 trillion, according to the Congressional Budget Office (CBO), a nonpartisan federal agency. However, the Senate appears to have resolved a former hurdle related to the existing $10,000 cap on the state and local taxes, SALT deduction. The House bill proposes to hike that cap to $40,000, while the original Senate draft kept the cap at $10,000. The bill the Senate passed Tuesday, however, aligns more or less with the House. The cap is $40,000, though the Senate would maintain that threshold for only 5 years, until 2030, before dropping it back to $10,000, which is the current cap put in place by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. That could still be a tough sell for House Republicans in high-tax states such as New York, New Jersey, and California. But the Senate's change to that provision suggests a compromise was reached. There will be some noise, but it appears they've come to a general consensus, says Mark Barron, managing director in the National Tax Office at CBIZ, an accounting and financial advisory firm. If they're going to pass anything by July 4th, they can't go back to the Senate, Barron says. It just won't happen in time. The House's only choice is to pass what the Senate passed. It's still unclear if that July 4th deadline will be met. Still, it seems highly likely that lawmakers will pass a bill this year, if not by July 4th, then at some point in August. Even the people who are arguing about provisions in the bill say they want a bill, says Mark Luscombe, a CPA and principal analyst for Wolters Kluwer Tax and Accounting in Chicago. The House and Senate versions of the bill both mark a major step forward in fulfilling key campaign promises made by Trump, including extending existing federal income tax rates and other provisions of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that would otherwise expire at the end of this year. Both bills also incorporate a massive domestic policy agenda, which, in addition to tax provisions, includes funding for new border control measures and steep cuts to Medicaid and other programs. The original House bill passed that chamber with the slimmest of margins, with 215 lawmakers voting in favor and 214 against.